You're listening to Podcast PXN, PlayStation, Xbox, Nintendo. Let's do this. What's up, guys? Welcome to Podcast PXN, episode 64. I am one of your hosts, Daniel Prindle, aka Dan is DTM on Twitter, and I am joined over Discord by the Nintendo aficionado, Roro. What is up, Roro?
I am doing great. Hyped for Cyberpunk, of course, and everything that we're going to be talking about today. Very excited.
Yes, we have a filled show today. Thank you to everyone watching us live and participating in the chat. Just as a reminder, we are live each and every Wednesday at 8 p.m. Eastern Time on YouTube. Just search Podcast PXN and you will find us on there. The topic of the show this week, Roro, is our Game Awards predictions. But first, the show always starts with the PXN news of the week. So let's go ahead and jump right in. Roro, the first item on the PXN news of the week. Halo Infinite has a fall 2021 release date and a lot of info being shown with some screenshots as well. First, the release date, fall of 2021. Microsoft actually, I am surprised actually that they are giving them a year. So essentially a year delay from when it was originally supposed to come out. You have to give Microsoft props in this situation. They recognize that the game was not ready, and 343 is telling them the game's not ready and they need more time, and Microsoft saying, take another year. Like that was the most shocking thing out of this, I think. Is that shocking to you to see that?
Yeah, it was shocking to me to see that it was, like you said, pushed literally a year delay. Fall 2021 is a long time to wait for a Halo game, especially with the new release of their consoles. I'm sure, again, they wanted out more than any of us do, because it'll sell consoles. Obviously, it'll sell gangbusters as well, that game itself. But yeah, it's good on them for pushing the delay. At the end of the day, we're going to get a better game. And yeah, it's definitely sad that we're going to have to wait this long for it, but it's the responsible thing to do, to not just push it out and give us half of a game when we could get the better experience and give them the time that they need to finish it up.
Yeah, for sure. I completely agree. And they had a ton of stuff in this blog post. I definitely recommend people to go read the blog post on 343's website, because they have a ton of stuff in there. I wouldn't be able to cover that anywhere close to that in here. I did, Roro, make a video last night on my personal channel that was almost 30 minutes long. So I uploaded that last night. If you really want to check that out, you can find me. You can find it out there. But yes, there's so much there. A couple of the highlights, though. I thought it was very interesting, the things that Joseph Staten was saying. So Joseph Staten, obviously former lead writer for the Halo series at Bungie, for Halo 1, 2, 3, ODST, and Reach. He had rejoined 343 in September to essentially finish out the campaign, to help the campaign team see their finish line, so to speak. And he puts in the blog post, I joined 343 right as the team was wrestling with feedback from the July campaign demo. This discussion boiled down to one fundamental truth. We needed more time to do things right. That included pushing hard in the fall, giving the team time to recharge over the holidays, and then coming back in January to finish the game at a healthy pace. Because Halo Infinite in the fall of 2021 is just the beginning of the adventure. So, obviously, clearly, he's just saying the game needed a lot more time, and they don't want to be put in a situation where they have all of this crunch situation like what Cyberpunk has experienced themselves. And I think they're trying to alleviate that by doing this. So I think that's very interesting. And then at the end of the blog post, he actually put something very interesting as well, which got me very excited. He says, my first week on the job, I played the entire Infinite campaign twice. I was, in a word, stunned in the best possible way by what the team had done. Infinite is, by far, the most expansive and vertical Halo world ever. Why did the team do this? Because they understand that wonder and freedom are key to the Halo experience. My God. He said that.
If that doesn't get you hyped.
Oh, I was so jealous when I read it. When I read that, I was like, I need this. But yeah, Roro, there's a ton of cool screenshots in here as well for people to check out. It looks so good.
The armor looks really cool.
Yes, it does.
For the multiplayer stuff, it looks awesome.
Yes, yeah, just the visual stuff from the campaign demo to this already looks so much better. Like they showed a multiplayer map that the environment looks really detailed and really good. So yes, I'm very, very excited for this. So, all right, I'll stop with my Halo rant. I know I'm excited, but Roro, continuing on the Halo train though, Halo is actually getting some items in Fortnite. And this is coming by way of a leak that came out last week. And that includes Master Chief as a skin, as well as there's a pelican for like your umbrella or whatever, gravity hammer as your axe, and other things as well. But I thought this was very interesting because we literally were just talking about this 2 weeks ago or last week, I can't remember, about having Kratos, Master Chief, and Samus all teamed up. And now we have 2 of the 3, or soon to have Master Chief. That hasn't been officially announced yet, but I don't know what's happening, Roro.
Yeah, this is so cool. After the Kratos event, I believe a lot of people noticed that the name of the set that Kratos was from was called Video Game Legends, which makes you assume that there's more to come in the Video Games Legend skin set for Fortnite. So Kratos was obviously one of them, but who else is there? Obviously, there's Master Chief now, but I hope they don't stop there and they include Nintendo in all of this. And as you were saying, we have speculated that Samus is the third person, or the one from Nintendo that might join the trio of Video Game Legends for this set. I think this is really cool. Hopefully Nintendo is okay with it, because I feel like they're the ones who might be the ones that are a little weird about this. They kind of march to the beat of their own drum in these kind of situations, but I'm hopeful. I think they will want to be a part of something like this. I can't imagine why they would not want to be. But I think this is really cool. I can't wait for Master Chief to be in this game. It's going to be really cool.
Yeah, Fortnite's going to steal a bunch of money from me for this because, I mean, anything Halo, I have to get it. I mean, I have no choice. Moving on, Roro. Sea of Thieves is introducing a Battle Pass and season schedule in 2021. I thought this was kind of interesting because what Rare has been doing the last couple of years since Sea of Thieves came out is they've had pretty consistent monthly updates where they release pretty substantial content. They have the big releases that come like every few months, like 3 to 4 months, but then they have other stuff coming on a monthly basis. So essentially they're just like, I guess, remarketing that as seasons, I think, to kind of formalize them doing that ongoing support. Because obviously Rare has done a really, really good job with keep on creating content for Sea of Thieves, and it's such a different game now than when it was released, Roro. It's so insanely different. It's crazy how much content they've added, and obviously I think this makes sense for a online connected game such as Sea of Thieves. What are your thoughts on this?
I think it's good. I have not a lot of experience with Sea of Thieves that much at all. Actually, I haven't game ever, but I think this is good. Obviously, a battle pass that gives you more rewards and stuff like that is fantastic for the players that are super invested, unlike myself. But I just hopefully it works out and it's not a predatory sort of system. Like sometimes these battle passes are very hit or miss with the fans, but hopefully this is a hit.
Yes. Yeah. like you, I haven't played this in a long time. Like, it's changed quite a bit since I've last played it. So I keep telling myself one day I'm going to go back to it and experience all this new content, but I just never do it. There's not enough time. I don't know.
Yeah. So many more new games that are coming out with their own battle passes that, have got us kind of hooked. Or Fortnite, for crying out loud, is doing great with their seasons and stuff.
And I'm looking at you, Master Chief Collection. Pulls me back in every season. Moving on from there, Roro. A little bit of dire news here. Casey Hudson and Mark Dara are leaving BioWare. So if you don't know, these two guys are kind of big names in BioWare's history in terms of Mass Effect, more specifically. So I don't know how this is going to impact BioWare. Obviously, Casey Hudson had come back to be the head of BioWare, and he's not really been in the role that long. He's only been there a couple years, I think, at most. So I think it's interesting that he's already leaving, and it seems like it's a culture problem within the studio. So, like, the people underneath him essentially wanted a change, is what it sounds like, which is very interesting. Maybe he wasn't, fit for that role or whatnot, but it is going to be interesting to see how this impacts Mass Effect moving forward, because obviously they announced a new game, and what else happens with BioWare. I don't know. How do you think this impacts BioWare?
Hopefully for the better. Like you were saying, if the people there were saying that they want to change, and if Casey is one of the changes that Casey leaving is one of the changes that they wanted, I guess that hopefully this helps them in the long run. But right now it doesn't look good. BioWare has been on a kind of a losing streak ever since Andromeda.
Yeah.
And then Anthem, of course. So here's hoping that they can turn things around with the trilogy. Obviously, that's going to be fine. Everybody loves those games. It's just going to be a re-release of some of the good old days, I guess. And then we can only hope what's going to happen with their next Mass Effect game is going to be good, and this change is going to be good for them. But at the moment, it doesn't look too good over there, especially with Anthem. We're still waiting on that re-release and that update of that game that they said they're going to revamp Anthem.
Yeah. So
hopefully that comes and it's good, because fans, I'm sure, want to see BioWare winning again, because again, it hasn't been good in the past couple of years.
Yeah. Beloved IP, and people want to see more of it. So
yeah.
Roro, in case people didn't know, we read out the comments live in the chat. So we're going to go ahead and shout out Zach Wynn, who has actually used his correct name for once. Hello, PXN. A great friend of mine, Waxin, introduced me to this channel, and I must say, this is the greatest podcast of all time. Thank you, Zach. I appreciate that. Roro, I can't believe we actually have people watching that actually use their correct names now. That's unbelievable. So, it really not Rusty Gaming says, "What up, PXN? What's up, Elliot? Thank you for joining us." Moving on, Roro, to more BioWare news. Dragon Age is returning to the Game Awards. They were obviously officially announced this 2 years ago now, I think, at the Game Awards, and now it's back. Apparently, they're going to show something. Do we think that they're going to show gameplay here, Roro?
I don't think so. I think it's going to be like a CGI sort of thing. I remember the last time that they teased anything, it was like concept art, wasn't it? Yeah. So I don't know how far along they are to be showing gameplay yet. That would be great. Of course, that would be wonderful.
Yeah.
If it is gameplay, it's probably going to be one of those, in the bottom it says still in development or early alpha stage or something like that in the corners, where it's like not really gameplay.
Yeah.
But yeah, so if they do show gameplay, it's definitely going to be very, very early on stuff, I think.
Yeah, I agree with you. I don't know that they'll show gameplay, but I think they might show like in-engine stuff, because I think we did get like one image that was like an in-engine depiction or whatever of a certain area. I think we may get like in-engine stuff, but not. I don't think we'll see like live gameplay or anything like that. So I agree with you. Moving on, Roro, Glenn Schofield, who, if you don't know, Glenn is one of the original founders for Visceral Games, and Visceral Games made Dead Space, for reference there. Yes. He has, and actually he obviously went on to build Sledgehammer Games, which worked on Call of Duty and still works on Call of Duty, but he had left there a couple years ago to create his new studio, which is Striking Distance Studios, and they are announcing their game already at the Game Awards, which, man, that's a quick turnaround. He's already got a game ready to show. I have some ideas for what I think this might be, and that'll be in my predictions when we get to that point down below. But it is very exciting to see like brand new indie developers kind of already making a mark, like just 2 years into them forming this brand new studio. They already have something to show. Like, that's super cool. And I think that's kind of a testament to where we are right now as an industry, that like you can just pick up Unreal Engine and you're good to go. You don't have to do anything crazy. So yeah. Are you excited about this, Roro? Like, are you a big fan of Dead Space, or?
As I may have said before, I am a scaredy cat when it comes to
Yes.
horror games.
I forgot. Yes.
I've been interested in Dead Space. I've never picked it up because, again, scaredy cat, but I always loved watching like gameplay videos of it when I was in high school. I watched a couple of stuff. I always thought Isaac's armor was just the most badass thing ever. I loved his like spacesuit. I loved that. So I'm a fan from a distance. I'm sure I would love the game if I actually picked it up and tried it. I'm becoming more brave. I played Layers of Fear recently, not to, toot my own horn. So I'm starting to play some horror games here and there. So maybe I pick up Dead Space. So I'm definitely excited for what he has to come next, because I know that people are huge fans of Dead Space. That's a pretty beloved franchise. I don't know how people feel about 3. I think that was a little not so beloved, but the first 2 people really liked. I know that.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm sure people are excited to see what he's got cooking.
I think as they go on as well, Roro, I think you'll be more inclined to play them, because the first game is like very scary and very close quarters, and then 2 is like a little more actiony but still scary, and then 3 is just like basically an action game. So
okay,
yeah.
So maybe I'll like the third one better, and then it'll go the other way around for me.
Yeah, for sure. Moving on, Neil Druckmann apparently has been promoted to co-president for Naughty Dog. He joins Evan Wells, who was already president of Naughty Dog. So obviously, I think this is a situation where Neil Druckmann is just like such a big talent that Naughty Dog doesn't want to lose him. Like, if he were to all of a sudden say, hey, I want to just go do my own thing, this is kind of incentivizing him to stay by making him co-president. So definitely makes a lot of sense. Obviously, Neil headed up Uncharted 4 and Last of Us and Last of Us 2. So obviously he has a ton of credence to his name, and he helped obviously with Uncharted 3, 2, and 1 as well, but the other ones were kind of his baby, so to speak. So obviously this is good news to keep Neil Druckmann around, and I will try to forgo my upset anger at Neil Druckmann for doing something specific in The Last of Us Part 2 that I can't talk about.
Right. Yes. I think this is awesome news. I love Neil Druckmann as a creative lead. He's been at Naughty Dog for a super long time, and it's funny to think that he started as a programmer on, I think, Jack 3, something like that. But now he's he's the president of the company that he was working for. So I think that's really awesome origin story for him, climbing up the ladder. That's awesome.
Yes.
And yeah, I'm excited to see what Naughty Dog does next, especially with him at the co-president seat. Very exciting for me.
Absolutely. Can't wait to see what they do next. Uncharted 5? No, maybe?
Oh my gosh.
I don't know. Although they did say they were done with Uncharted, so I don't know. I'm not sure.
No, I want them to continue Uncharted.
I do too. I do too.
Yeah.
There's so many things they could do after the ending of Uncharted 4 as well.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So, moving on, Roro. Forza Horizon 4 is getting a new game mode called Super 7, which looks exciting. I loved Forza Horizon 4 when it came out 2018. I absolutely adored that game. I love the Horizon games more so than Motorsport because I'm not a big simulation racing guy. But I love the open world stuff. This just looks super cool and crazy. Like they're adding tools where you can create custom content and like you can add in like dinosaurs and like half pipes and like all kinds of crazy things to like drive through these obstacle courses or whatever you want to make. And it just looks so much fun based on the trailer they showed. So I'm excited for that. And also Cyberpunk has a car that is coming to Forza Horizon 4. At least that's what we're thinking, because Playground Games tweeted at someone who had tweeted about that and basically said that they need to watch the Game Awards. So sounds like we're gonna get some kind of Cyberpunk tie-in with Forza Horizon 4 announced tomorrow at the Game Awards. I don't know. Does this excite you, Roro? I know you don't have an Xbox, you have a PC, but I mean, I don't know. I just thought it was interesting.
It is cool. I think it's awesome. The trailer for Super 7 kind of reminded me of like GTA Online, the crazy tracks that people would make for online. That's what it kind of reminded me of. It looks fun. Definitely looks fun. And I haven't picked up a Forza game. I think I played Motorsport a little bit on Game Pass. I think both of them are available on Game Pass, but I think I played Motorsport and I liked it. I did like it. I just never stuck with it. And this is definitely a mode that I would like to try out. And with them doing a little tie-in with Cyberpunk, I think is really exciting, because one of the things that I've heard about Cyberpunk is the crazy options you have with the vehicles and how there's so many, they all feel different. And just having more options is going to be great, especially from a company that specializes in making cool cars. So I'm excited to see what they have to announce for Cyberpunk for sure, especially with us being able to dive right in literally later today.
Yes, absolutely. Very cool. And speaking of Cyberpunk, Roro, great transition there. Cyberpunk reviews have started rolling in, and it is getting very good reviews. There has been a couple outlets that have criticized certain things and gave a lesser review score, which totally get their points, and they had valid points in there. But I think overwhelmingly this game has been positively reviewed. I think there's a few weird things going on with this game where they were making reviewers review on PC, and there was a lot of questions about console and how that's going to be, displayed. Is it going to be a good port to the console? There's still questions there. I'm not sure. I've only played a tiny bit of it just before the show, so I can't really test any of that yet. But I think that's definitely concerning, all of that stuff. But the overall feeling about this game is the world, the characters, the story, all of that stuff is amazing, just as people expected it to be. I think there's people that have concerns with bugs. There's quite a few bugs that people have been talking about, which is very similar to something like Fallout 3, for instance, which released with a lot of bugs, but it was such a cool world to explore, such cool characters, and it was very interesting to just live in that world, and it feels like Cyberpunk's going to be very similar to that, Roro. Are you excited to jump into this world? Does the reviews have you excited to play, or does the reviews have you like, we'll see?
The review, I'm excited to play. They definitely they tempered my expectations a little bit more after reading a couple of like previews before the reviews. I was like, okay, I know what I'm starting to walk into. And then the reviews came out, and then it's overwhelmingly positive with a couple of different people sharing their valid criticisms for sure, what I've read. But I'm still super excited to play this. One of the biggest releases we've been waiting for 7 to 8 years, I think, for this to finally release, and it felt like it was never going to come with all the delays that have been happening this year, and it's finally here. So I'm definitely excited to dive into it. I'm a little bit more cautious with being overhyped, just like this is going to be the greatest thing ever since sliced bread or whatever. But I am definitely excited to give it a fair shake and try it after it being one of the greatest or one of the most anticipated things for most gamers right now. With the reviews, however, I've seen like people being very angry with the ones that have been giving it lower than 8, and I was like, I just don't understand that perspective.
Right.
But I don't know. It's just all fun. It's just all video games at the end of the day, and we should all just be enjoying it. And even if somebody disagrees with it, isn't it more fun to just like discuss it with them instead of trying to make them lose their jobs or something like that?
Yeah.
But yeah,
and
I just rather tell somebody why I like it instead of telling them that they should go kill themselves.
Yeah, no, people should not do that. And the crazy
people should not do that.
Yeah. The crazy part is like I don't even feel like the reviews really matter that much for this game specifically. Obviously, they matter to an extent, but like people having an opinion shouldn't have people freaking out saying like, "Oh, you should have given it this." Like, it doesn't really matter at the end of the day for this game. Like, there's some games out there, like this is one of my examples I always go back to, like Fallout New Vegas, for instance. They had a threshold. Obsidian had a threshold they had to hit in terms of Metacritic review scores, that if they didn't hit that review score, they weren't going to get their bonuses from Bethesda. And unfortunately, they were 1 point below that threshold. So they didn't get all of their bonuses for Fallout New Vegas because they were 1 point lower. So in that situation, I would understand personally fans being upset, not saying like, kill yourself and all that, but being upset about a lower review because it's affecting directly those developers that made such a great game, but they're 1 point too low because, certain reviewers scored the game lower and it brought it down. So situations like that, I understand, but Cyberpunk is an independently developed and published game. It's fully done by CD Projekt Red, so it's not like that's going to be a situation that's going to happen here. So yeah, I don't know. Do you share the same sentiments as me in
Definitely.
that?
Yeah, I don't understand why the review scores matter to the fans so much, especially with them being so passionate about it. I feel like the people who are angry about it getting a 7 don't really care. Like, they're going to buy the game no matter what. So I don't understand being so upset about it. When I think Callie Plagge also did The Last of Us 2 review for GameSpot, and hers was like one of the more critical ones, and it was one of my favorites, honestly. And I love The Last of Us. I would give it a 10 out of 10 across the board. But all of her criticisms were totally valid. I like totally saw where she was coming from. I disagree with some of them, but at the end of the day, I love that game, and that's really all that matters. At the end of the day, I like the game, and it doesn't matter what somebody else says. And if I disagree with what they say, then I should tell them, but in a way that is fun and in a respectable discourse, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah, I completely agree with you. And just to kind of round out the Cyberpunk stuff, there were some concerns that many people have had concerning certain scenes in Cyberpunk that were causing epileptic reactions from people who are susceptible to epilepsies. And that is definitely a big concern. And CD Projekt Red has commented saying essentially that they're looking at putting another disclaimer in the game, and they're trying to figure out a way to, I guess, go around that or take that out. I'm not sure what their plan is for that, but they are aware of it and they're looking at it. But I think that is definitely important for people that enjoy video games and have that problem. That is definitely a huge concern. You don't want to just end up having seizures from playing a video game. That's not a good thing. I did see some people out there saying that they were doing it anyways, even with knowing they have that in there, and I don't like that because
that's scary.
Yes, that's Yeah, that's very scary. Like, oh man. But also at the same time, like, I, I can't remember. You retweeted somebody that was talking about this very thing, and people were like attacking her for this.
Yeah, like they were upset
Which,
that she got a seizure from the game that caused the seizure. Like,
yeah,
direct your anger. You shouldn't direct the anger at the developers either. I'm sure
right,
they didn't intend for her to have a seizure. It was
right,
I don't know how it got past certification and all that kind of stuff, how it's even in the game in general, but it definitely wasn't their intention to have this player receive the seizure. But if anything, it's not the player's fault that she's receiving the seizure. If anything, she's warning everybody else that this is a thing. So that was another thing that was kind of weird surrounding this game. It's very weird.
yeah,
I think people are just super excited for this game and they don't want any backlash. They just want to enjoy this game, and I totally get that. I understand just wanting to jump in. I've been waiting for 8 years to play this game, and I just want to play that game.
yeah,
Then maybe you should stay off the internet and
yeah,
just, especially if you can't handle the criticism, stay off the internet and just play the game and enjoy it.
yeah.
There's nothing wrong with that.
Turn off social media. That would be my answer.
We all need to do it once in a while.
Exactly. Yes. Roro, moving on. Bungie has officially confirmed crossplay for Destiny 2 coming in 2021, as well as they are creating some DDoS protection for console players, which DDoS is essentially it's a attack on your network that is basically just flooding your network with so much information, so many packets of information that it just essentially shuts your router down. So they're doing this to try to prevent cheating. And I know a lot of people complained with this about Trials of Osiris, because obviously winning in that is very important, much more important than Crucible. So yes, that is very good news that they're incorporating some of that protection for console players, as well as finally getting us crossplay in 2021, which Roro, we can finally play with one another because you're on PC. So
Yes.
that is exciting.
Definitely. Yeah, I'm super excited for it. Crossplay has been something that ever since cross save was a thing, we've been hoping that would be able to come to fruition, and it seems like it's going to be in 2021 as well. So super excited for that. Trials has been on a hiatus still. I don't think it's has come back since Beyond Light has launched because of all these cheaters and other things with weapons in the game just not working the way that Bungie intended. So they just canceled Trials because it just anger the community a little bit more if they are in the game and all these cheaters are ruining the experience. It's better to just not have it on the table at all.
Yeah.
So hopefully all these things help that from not happening again, and Trials just being pretty smooth for the rest of the cycle. But yeah, I'm super excited for next year for Destiny. I'm having a blast with it right now. So any more improvements that are to come are very welcome for sure.
Yeah, and I just looked it up while you were talking. Trials of Osiris is returning December 18th. So
Yes. Okay. So not
too far away, I guess.
Yeah.
A couple weeks.
That's when
or a week.
December 18th.
Yeah.
When is that?
Next Thursday or next Friday. Yeah.
Next Friday. Yes. Okay.
Yeah.
And I think the dawning, so that's Destiny's Christmas event, is next week, Tuesday or something like that. So that's exciting stuff as well, for sure.
Gotcha. I did see they brought back Hawkmoon too, which
Yes.
that's interesting. A new quest line. Moving on, Roro, to the final news story of the week, which I know you have been waiting for and are excited for. Kate Bishop is available now for Marvel's Avengers. I watched briefly some footage of her, and she looks really cool, and I really love her design as well. It looks really good. And actually, I think they just revealed Kate Bishop in the TV series, the Disney Plus series. Yeah, which... It looks really good as well. But are you going to play this right away, or are you going to give it a little bit?
Yeah, I mean, I would like to play it right away, but there's some other games that are coming out soon that have my attention a little bit more. I did boot it up a little bit, but I didn't get to play Kate yet. So I did the first mission. It wasn't running very well still on my PC, a little bit buggy. So I just kind of gave up. I'm like, okay, I'll come back to this a little bit later, maybe when Clint is out, or hopefully sooner than that. But I do hope to go back because I've heard great things. I heard that Kate Bishop has been a great addition to the roster. And when you boot up the game, like she's added to obviously the lineup there, and it just gave me some like kind of Overwatch vibes by like there's going to be eventually there's just going to be a huge cast of Marvel heroes on this screen, and that kind of really hypes me up a little bit. Like that's going to be super cool to see in a couple of years or a year down the line how many characters are added to this roster, and that got me a little bit excited. So I'm definitely excited to boot it back up and try her out because I've heard great things, and the story apparently is very interesting as well. So that's always a plus as well because I love the campaign from the vanilla campaign of Marvel Avengers. So more story is always good.
Yeah. Well, hopefully we'll see all of those characters, and the game doesn't just say we're done because it's not sold that well. But I think they have a certain degree of responsibility of releasing characters. I'm just not sure how long they have to go. I don't know. It'll be interesting to see if they can fill like a giant auditorium with all Avengers. That'd be great, but we'll see if they make it there. Moving into the games we are playing, Roro, I have started to check out Destiny 2 again. I obviously had already continued my Destiny 2 campaign on Xbox Series X launch day when I was playing on there, but now the next gen update is out, and it feels so good. Let me just say that. I believe on Monday, I played with one of my friends before the update came out, and we were playing Strike, and I was coming from Halo the Master Chief Collection playing in 120 frames per second and went to that at 30 frames per second, and I was like, oh my God, I didn't even realize how big of a difference that is until you go from something like that to that. Like, it was painful to do that. So yes, this is welcome. 60 frames per second now. So good. It feels so good. Feels right. Field of view. You can customize your field of view now as well. Very, very good enhancements for Destiny 2. Definitely recommend. And also, Roro, I started replaying Marvel's Spider-Man Remastered. So I imported my save from PS4 and did a New Game Plus. So now I'm starting my New Game Plus, and my goodness, that game is absolutely stunning. All the enhancements they did to that game is amazing. I can't believe that game came out on PS4 because it literally looks as good as Miles Morales that just came out. Yeah. So, yeah, it's a lot of fun. Loving it so far.
Nice. So right now, I'm playing kind of the same thing that you are, kind of mirrored, though. I'm playing Miles Morales and Destiny 2, of course. But I'll start with Miles Morales. I've obviously beaten the story. I've talked about that a little bit, but I'm trying to go for the Platinum because I wanted to have Spider-Man Platinum, Miles Morales Platinum. So that would be nice. I'm working towards that. I think I'm pretty close. I just need to do New Game Plus, which I'm working on now. I collected all the suits, I think, yesterday. And I was like, oh, man, these suits are so cool. My goodness. I can't decide on which one to wear. I keep switching them. Like every time I put one on, I switch to another one every time. But that's what I've been playing a lot recently. Destiny 2, Iron Banner has started. So I'm playing that's a Crucible event for Destiny, if you're not familiar. But I've been playing that, trying to level up my Titan a little bit more, get the armor and all that kind of stuff. Kind of disappointed that it's old armor, and they haven't refreshed that vendor yet in a very long time. So I was hoping that we'd get some new armor, but alas, no new armor. But I've also been playing another game on Game Pass called Call of the Sea. I'm going to just make sure that I'm saying that correctly.
From Insomniac, right? Or no? Am I thinking of something else?
That's something... I know what you're talking about, but it's not that one. It's from Raw Fury and another developer that I do not remember the name of. Oh gosh. It is called
Out of the Blue.
Out of the Blue. Yes, that is them. Yes. So I'm playing Call of the Sea. It's like a nice little puzzle game, and it's very, very good. It's very good. It's a very beautiful game. The story is very interesting. It's got me hooked for sure. Again, talked about this a million times. Cyberpunk is out now, so I don't know how soon I'm going to get back to it. But I do foresee myself going back to it because it is really good. So I definitely would recommend it if you're not planning on playing Cyberpunk anytime soon and you're looking for something a little bit more digestible. It's a pretty short game from what I've heard, like 6 to 8 hours. You could knock it out in a day, I guess. It's really good. So I would definitely recommend it if you're into puzzle games, which I usually am not. So that kind of surprised me as well. I'm not usually a puzzle game kind of guy, but
yeah. Just reading this description here,
this one surprised me.
Oh, I think you cut out for a second. Sorry. Are you there? Oh,
Uh-oh.
you're good. You're good. You're
Hello?
good.
Hello?
Yep, you're good. I don't know what happened there. I just stopped hearing you for a second. Okay. Just reading this commentary though, it just sounds super cool. An otherworldly first-person adventure game set in the 1930s South Pacific. That sounds really cool.
Yeah, it's really cool, and the island that you're on is just breathtaking. It has its own little art style. It's really cool.
Sweet. And you touched on how Destiny 2's items weren't being refreshed enough. I did see. I'm sure you saw this as well, that they're adding more team members into their rewards team or whatever, or ongoing support team. So hopefully that means more better stuff coming.
Definitely, they did mention that they're trying to do better with those sort of vendor refreshes and having new gear for everybody to go after, and bringing back some old weapons too, which got me super excited as well.
Including Hawkmoon, and maybe Fatebringer when we get the raid coming back. That'd be good.
Yes. I can't wait.
Yes. Roro, moving into the topic of the show, the Game Awards predictions. Here we go. This is our predictions for the Game Awards, which are happening tomorrow. And also, just as a kind of FYI, I believe you are going to do this as well with me. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay. Tomorrow we will be live streaming the Game Awards. We will be co-streaming. I signed up for it on Geoff Keighley's website. I thought that they would only choose certain people, but apparently they just let everyone do it. So I've got like the assets from Geoff Keighley and all of that. So very excited to do that tomorrow. So catch us tomorrow. I believe it starts at 6:30, but that's like the pre-show stuff. So I don't know when the actual show starts. Maybe 7 or 8. I don't know. Well, we'll have to see on that. But check us out tomorrow for that. Roro, my first prediction here. Glenn Schofield's game. We were just talking about this a little bit ago. Glenn Schofield's game, I believe, will be a smaller scale Dead Space game. Dead Space-like game, not Dead Space, sorry. With a lot of horror elements included. And here is the hint that I believe we are getting from the name of the studio. So, Roro, the name of their studio is Striking Distance Games. So, you're within striking distance, like close quarters, like striking distance. So, that's kind of how I'm attributing that, like a horror game, because it's close quarters, striking distance, like almost like you're going to get attacked. I don't know. That's just a crazy theory, but that's my hope as well, because I love Dead Space and I want EA to freaking revitalize it. They shouldn't have killed Visceral Games. Dang it. But yes, very, very intrigued by what their game's going to actually be, but that's my prediction. How stupid is that, Roro? Is it?
I don't think it's stupid at all. No, that's super good. I think he is going to be there. So
yeah,
there's definitely a chance that it's going to be a horror game and all of that. So I think that's a good get for sure. Should I go with mine next, or we're going down your
go for it? Yes.
Okay. So mine is very Nintendo heavy, so I'll start with the one that isn't Nintendo. But I know Kojima, I know Geoff. They're very close. Very close. It's been a while since we've heard from Kojima. This is my big one. I don't think it's going to happen. I hope it happens though. But Kojima reveals his next game. It might not be, definitely won't be any gameplay. It'll just be like another CGI trailer with whatever actor he decides to team up with this time, holding maybe not a dead baby this time, but who knows? Who knows what it's holding this time? But my big prediction is that Kojima's there, which he always is, I guess. But he's with a game this time. He's showing off his next Kojima Productions game. Is my big one.
So you're not crazy in thinking that, because Kojima showed Death Stranding for, I feel like, 7 straight years. Not really, but it felt like he kept showing it at every single freaking event. And I'm like, dude, stop showing the game and just release it, because Jesus, this is too much. So yeah, that could totally happen. And Geoff loves himself some Kojima. So
yeah, and so do I. So do I.
Yeah. Roro, my next one, I believe this one may happen. I think it's a good chance. Sony, I think, may surprise us with a new trailer for Ratchet & Clank PS5 with a release date. Obviously, we know this is coming release window next year at some point, but I think we will get a release date at the end of a brand new gameplay trailer, or maybe like a live thing. I don't know. I don't know how the Game Awards is even going to happen, if it's going to be live. I think it's going to be pre-recorded. I don't know. Whatever it is, I think it'll be some kind of gameplay trailer, release date at the end. I'm all for it. I can't wait for myself to play some Ratchet & Clank again.
Yes, definitely. Me too. I'm hyped for the next installment. Not that I'll be able to play it anytime soon, since I don't have a PS5. Yeah, but it looks really good. Yeah, I can't wait to get my hands on it. I love the reboot. So I'm super excited for what is next from them. When do you think it'll come out? What release date do you think it'll get?
Oh, I think it's probably going to be February. That's my best guess.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
So my next one is a Nintendo one, as I said. Yeah. So it's still 2020. So that means it's still the Mario 35th anniversary year, True. I guess. So I'm hoping that they release or announce a Mario sports game. I know a lot of fans have been wanting them to revisit that section of Mario. It's nothing huge, so it's not like another 3D Mario platformer. So I think it's possible. It's just like another spin-off series. So a Mario sports game, I'm hoping it is strikers, so soccer. But I wouldn't be mad at a golf game either. But I would love another Mario strikers. I loved Aces, so I'm really hoping that they go back into the sports genre again soon. So I think that's possible.
So Roro, on Wii, they had Wii Sports. What about Mario Sports? What about all the sports in one game? It'd be like the Master Chief Collection of Mario Sports.
Yes, that is true. That would be awesome, having like the basketball, the baseball, the golf, all of that, Mario's Ultimate Sports Collection. That would be cool. When I think of all the sports, I think of like kind of the Olympic Games that they do with Sonic and Mario at the Olympic Games. So that's what I think of when it comes to that. But if they did that, that would be even better. Just like not even having to choose either soccer or baseball, just all of them being in one would be even better. That'd be awesome.
Yes, that would be cool. Roro, my final prediction, Elden Ring has been often talked about, and people think it's coming at every single event, and it never shows up. So I'm just going to throw my hat out there, because I didn't have any other ideas, and I'm not even a big fan of From Software's games, but here we go. Elden Ring, I think, makes its triumphant return with a gameplay trailer. Yes, a gameplay trailer. And I think it's going to light the world on fire, because everyone loves themselves some FromSoft games except for me. So.
Yeah, I think people are hoping that is a thing as well. A lot of gamers are hoping that Elden Ring is going to be there and show off as much as they can. Yeah. So I think that'll be fun. I really hope so as well. I'm not a huge FromSoft guy either. I like some of them. I liked Neo. I guess that's a version of FromSoft games.
Yeah.
And played a little bit of Bloodborne, never finished it. So yeah, I do love what they do. I just never got into them myself very much. But my next one, I'm just going to do 2 more, just do them really quick. Samus from Fortnite. I hope that she's going to be there.
Who?
As an
Samus. Oh, okay.
Samus, yeah, Samus revealed for Fortnite, and hopefully, I guess Halo Master Chief could be there too, as like some like maybe advertisement sort of quick things, like these characters are out now on the Fortnite shop as like a advertisement before a big award comes out or something. Who knows? So that could be something that happens. And my other one is Among Us comes to consoles. I think they might announce that there. That would be kind of cool. I think it should be on consoles. I don't know. Yeah, it could work. It could definitely work.
Yeah.
there's no reason why it shouldn't work. So I think it would. I think that'd be a really cool announcement, especially with them actually being up for a nomination in best multiplayer. I believe.
Yeah.
So if they win, they could announce that before or after.
Yeah.
Who knows?
And we know they're going to be there.
Yes. Yes. So there we go. Yeah.
Nice.
Among Us on consoles.
Yes, that would be awesome. And they actually have added proximity chat now, so you can have proximity chat in game, which is awesome.
Yeah,
I've
really
been watching people play that. Yeah, very, very cool. Roro, what do we think is going to get the most awards at the show? I personally, and it pains me to say it, but I think that The Last of Us 2 is going to get the most awards at the show. Obviously, the game is despite what you think about it, the game is a technical masterpiece. Like, every detail Naughty Dog does such a phenomenal job with, and it just looks stunning especially for last gen's hardware. And there's so many things they did right about this game, accessibility, and there's so many other things they did right, but there's the one thing that they did wrong. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe one day I'll play that. I will play it one day. I actually purchased it on sale, so I have it now.
There we go.
I just need to play it at some point. But what do you think is going to get the most awards at the show?
I do think The Last of Us is gonna sweep a little bit there. I think they're in the most nominations anyway. Like, they're in the most like categories. I think their name shows up a lot.
Yes.
So I feel like they might clean up shop. I'm not even sure, even though it is my game of the year, I'm not sure it's like a guarantee that it's going to be the game of the year, especially with Animal Crossing and Hades. I think those are the two big ones that might beat it. That might have a chance to beat it, especially with Animal Crossing being so tied to this year. Even if it's not like I think it is more widely played than The Last of Us. It's more accessible to mainstream and other gamers, I think, Animal Crossings. And again, I think it's just so tied to 2020 as a year that it could be the one that beats it. But I think I agree with you that The Last of Us is going to be the game that gets the most awards, and I think deservingly.
Yeah. So biggest disappointment. My biggest disappointment with the Game Awards is Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order. I feel like what we were so concerned about last year about it being overlooked and forgotten this year, because obviously it came out right after the Game Awards last year, or right after the window that you're allowed to be in for the Game Awards voting. So it was eligible for this year, but I feel like it just didn't get enough appreciation. Like, it came out almost a year ago, and everyone has almost forgotten about it. Like, people were saying, well, what should have been in the game of the year category instead of this game? And it's like, well, Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order should have been in the game of the year running, because it was an absolutely phenomenal game and a phenomenal Star Wars game. And I do think it's a little bit upsetting that they didn't kind of get the credit that they deserve, I feel like, at the award show. But I don't know. I guess we'll see. The other small one that I'll kind of say as well is Ori and the Will of the Wisps. I feel like did not get as much credit as it deserved as well. It got nominated for a few categories, but again, man, I really feel like it was so special that it should have had at least a few votes for Game of the Year. I don't know. It all depends on who's voting for this stuff in terms of who's on Geoff Keighley's panel that actually votes on the games. So I don't know. What were your? I don't know. What do you feel like got the biggest? I don't know. FU or whatever.
Yeah, I'd have to agree. Besides, I think Half-Life Alyx is another one that people were kind of upset about that didn't make that row of Game of the Year nominations. But I agree with Jedi Fallen Order. I think the two games that you mentioned are actually nominated in the same category, Best Action Adventure.
Yeah.
Both Ori and Fallen Jedi Fallen Order are both in that one. I think that's the only one that Fallen Jedi Fallen Order is in, right? I think.
Yeah, I believe you're correct. Yeah.
Yeah.
And
So
that's why I feel like it got forgotten. Like, it's like one category. I don't know.
yeah, it does. It makes me wonder, like, as big as Cyberpunk is and as huge as the reception it's receiving, the positive reception it's receiving, is that the fate that it's going to suffer as well come next year? Is that going to be forgotten, or is it big enough to survive and actually make it to the Game of the Year? No, because there's not a doubt in my mind that if they released earlier, it would be on the list this year. It would be up there, and it would have bumped something else off to replace it. So it's going to be interesting to see if that survives, or it's going to be in the Best Action Adventure next year. So yeah, it is a bummer.
For sure. Yeah, I agree completely. And Cyberpunk, yeah, like you said, it could very well suffer the same fate next year. I think it'll depend on when the next gen patch comes for consoles for that game, because that might, reinvigorate that a little bit and kind of get people's minds on it. And maybe when the first expansion comes out, because we know there's DLC coming.
My goodness.
So yeah.
What?
So yeah, lots of good stuff. But yeah, we're excited to check that out tomorrow, the Game Awards. You can catch us live on the podcast channel. We will be live streaming it, and that will be exciting. Roro. Very exciting.
I'm very excited
for any crazy announcements we get.
And yeah, just to end the Game Awards thing, it's I guess it's like the biggest thing that we've had this year. Summer Games Fest happened, I guess, and it was hit or miss with some people. That was the biggest thing, I guess, until now, because we didn't have E3, all these events canceled. So I'm hoping that we're getting some good announcements, because I hope other game developers feel the same way about this or tomorrow as I do, because I think you announce some big stuff. I really hope so, because I want to be excited about video games.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Yes, agreed. I cannot express how exciting it is to see new stuff announced, and yes, that will be exciting. Roro, I believe we have entered the exit of our show. Do you have anything else to say before we go?
Nope, that was it from me.
All righty. Thank you again to everyone joining us both live on YouTube and on podcast services everywhere, including Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, SoundCloud, Spotify, and Stitcher. Thank you, Roro. I am Daniel, and this has been Podcast PXN, and we are out. Much love, and keep on gaming.
See ya.